tough and true, wrestling is the name. They will stay the same, and you know, motherfucker, there's no game. Yeah, that's busy to you guys. Respect.
Hey, wrestling fans, F and true followers and members of the WC. Brian Crazy,
JC Styles,
and this is the F and brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. Thanks for tuning in once again. We are back
with our 2012 WWE Royal Rumble review. Royal Rumble just went off just a little while ago. It was a pretty good Royal Rumble, few surprises, and it was generally a lot interesting tonight.
It was, the Royal Rumble match itself had me on the edge of my seat throughout it. I couldn't wait to find out every 2 minutes who that next superstar or that next entrant, I should say, would be, because we had a few surprise entrants, and we even had a diva involved in this year's Royal Rumble. A lot of stuff was kept under wraps, a lot of stuff that even us, some of the most dedicated wrestling fans who follow a lot of the net speculation, a lot of the backstage rumors, I should say, we did not know about. So let's jump right into it. You want to cover the first match?
Sure. We had the first match of the night was a dark match for those who were in attendance. Dark match is usually a match they have on before the pay-per-view actually goes live for those that are sitting in the arena just to keep the fans occupied and interested while they wait for the 8 o'clock. All right, we're going live in 5 minutes, and then they hit the music, the video packages, and everything like that.
Yeah, typically when you get a crowd into a building, just to add on to what JC said, when you get a crowd into a building, usually they've taken a long drive, they wait in the concession lines, they're a little run down, they're a little tired. So you give them a pretty good match. Sometimes you try to make it fast pacing, you try to make it interesting, so you get the crowd kind of warmed up, so to speak. So by the time that first match goes on, the crowd, their voices are being heard. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You don't have a silent crowd because no one wants to have an event with a silent crowd. It doesn't add to the atmosphere well, I should say.
So we see the dark match. We see Yoshi Tatsu pick up the win over the one-man country rock band or Southern
rock band,
Heath Slater. Then we move into the first match of the night, which was as the pay-per-view went live.
Very surprising, I do have to say. 8 o'clock. First match of the night, World Heavyweight title, 3-way dance in a steel cage. We saw Daniel Bryan, who is the defending World Heavyweight champion, go against the world's largest athlete, The Big Show, and also the world's strongest man, which legitimately, guys, if you don't know, Mark Henry won an Arnold Strongman Classic competition. He really is one of the world's strongest men. He was also involved in this huge 3-way contest. It was a great match. There was a lot of back and forth action, but at the end of the day, Daniel Bryan weaseled his way out again, somehow got over the top of the cage, escaped Big Show's grasp, and is still your world's heavyweight champion.
This match, I kind of figured that me and Brian both kind of figured that going into this match we were going to see Daniel Bryan kind of weasel his way. But actually, it was interesting match. We saw Big Show do some very high-powered moves. We saw Mark Henry. We even seen Big Show spear Mark Henry.
Oh yeah, and this was a big spear too. Imagine the amount of momentum. You have a 500-pound individual going against a 400-pound individual. That's like 1,000 pounds of mass. I'm surprised that maneuver alone didn't take the ring down.
That was basically like a tank hitting a Buick.
Seriously.
So we move into the next match, which was a 4-on-4 Divas tag team match. We saw the team of Beth Phoenix, Natalya, and the Bellas pick up the win over Kelly, Eve, Alicia Fox, and Tamina. Now, there was actually a lot of divas gunning for position in this match, especially like Beth Phoenix just aggressively tagged herself into the match right before she hit the Glam Slam to win for her team.
And I do have to say, I know I said it to excuse me, sorry guys, I hope there was no interruption there. I actually hit a piece of our equipment. But I did say to JC during the match, right after the match finished, I should say, that I just love how she hits that Glam Slam. She forcibly tagged herself and hit the Glam Slam, pulls up that one leg for the pin, 1, 2, 3. The most dominant female, the most dominant female currently in WWE, picked up the win a little bit later in the night. The most dominant diva probably WWE seen since the likes of China.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't give too much away. Stay tuned. So basically, to sum it up, Beth Phoenix, Natalya, and the Bellas picked up the win.
Exactly.
Then we go into the next match. This was the culmination of several weeks of build. It's been pretty good, I would have to say. I mean, what they've done with Kane is excellent. They definitely, the whole tagline, Kane Resurrected, they've really done well with that. I think the whole thing is, the whole angle's been going well. The attack against Ryder, I think, was well done. I think the attacks against John Cena has been well done, trying to get John Cena to basically come over to the dark side, not to, take one from Star Wars. But, that's kind of where this whole thing feels like and where they're going with it. So if the fans were looking for this to end tonight, we assumed that it wasn't going in.
Yeah.
We either thought John Cena was going to do something dirty, or Kane was going to somehow get over, somebody was going to get involved, or a double countout, like what happened. Good match, though. Solid match. We had a lot of offense from Kane, a lot of offense from John Cena. What do you have to say?
The match was definitely interesting. It was a lot of build-up going in. I mean, there's almost 2 months of build-up, and it was just really good. The only question that I had was that if me and Brian both said it when we saw Cena setting up to go for the AA, I said if Kane gets hit with the AA and he loses, I'm going to say that will make Kane look like the biggest weak man in the WWE, because a lot of days now, a lot of the bigger men need at least 1 to 2 finishers, and the way that this match ended, it was very interesting because it was a double countout. Then the brawl took place, which then we see, prior to the match, we saw Zack Ryder wheeled into his own little screening area, and Kane basically kicked the door literally right in.
Oh, I mean, right off the hinges. Like JC said, John Laurinaitis spoke with Zack Ryder as he was entering the arena. Zack Ryder had some elaborate brace on. He was, like JC said, put into this own screening area as the match ended. It spilled off into the backstage area. John Cena was laid out with a severe chair shot to the head. I wonder if that's going to be a fine.
And pretty much basically we see Zack Ryder basically kind of choked out almost and was wheeled out to the ring. And then we see Eve come out and basically pleading with Kane for several seconds right before Kane just smirked, gave her the sinister smirk and tombstoned him. And then we see Cena come out to try to make the save before Kane can do any more damage, and he's met with a choke slam to end this brawl/segment.
Yeah. Any old school wrestling fan loves when Undertaker or Kane pulls out the Tombstone Piledriver. And I'll definitely say I marked out when I saw it. I like the way this is going. I have a feeling that this feud is going to go on at least to WrestleMania until we see Rock and Cena go at it. And maybe Kane is going to somehow be involved in this huge main event. Only time will tell.
Exactly.
Only time will tell. But so far, the pay-per-view has been fantastic, and there's still a lot more to come. So then we see Drew McIntyre come out. He's kind of a surprise superstar.
Yeah.
And you don't really know why he's there, and then the Funkasaurus music hit. And you figure it's going to be a squash match. I like Brodus Clay. I like where they're going with it. I like how the crowd has been reacting to it. It's getting some fans that maybe not that into the current product back into it a little bit more.
Exactly.
I definitely like what they're doing with Brodus. It was a big surprise. I did not anticipate it. I don't think a lot of fans anticipated it. But we see Brodus come out against McIntyre, and I figured it would be a squash match. You want to take the rest of it?
Yes, and a squash match indeed it was. I mean, they're both great athletes. They're both, in their prime. They both have what it takes. But, I mean, to continuously have Drew McIntyre lose on TV for a month straight, and then have him lose at a pay-per-view where this is supposed to be the start of his build-up for his push, and you have him basically lay down, so to speak, for Brodus Clay. Now, I can also understand that they're also working on building Brodus Clay. And, me and Brian both said during this match was that, what, though? If they take the time out right and they do the Brodus Clay gimmick properly, the character properly, he could do big things. Like I've stated to a lot of people that bash the Funkasaurus Brodus Clay and said, hey, if the dancing gimmick can work for Dusty Rhodes, it could work for Brodus. And we've seen this kind of character over time. We saw it with Flash Funk, King Mabel. We saw it where WWE made Lance Storm into a laughingstock when they did the whole dance thing with him in WWE for a little while. Those kind of gimmicks don't really last very long, but hopefully they'll take big things with Brodus Clay.
I sure hope so, and I think the biggest thing that they could do with Brodus Clay is, I know the current gimmick is, he comes in dancing, which I love. I love the dancing. I love he's got the girls, Cameron and Naomi. I like the whole thing. The only thing I would like to see is the matches go a little bit longer, a little more ability, because Brodus has it. I want to see him show that ability. I guess that's what we're trying to say with this whole little part.
Then we move into the second to last match of the night, the WWE Championship, CM Punk champion defending against Dolph Ziggler. Now, this was a very entertaining match because, you have two guys who are at the top of their game right now. Dolph Ziggler is at the top of his game and deserves this push. I mean, look, last year he was in the main event against Edge at the Royal Rumble for the World Heavyweight Championship. Fast forward a year later, he's feuding with CM Punk over the WWE Championship, and it was a very entertaining match. I kind of was hoping to see Dolph Ziggler walk away with the strap. He has so much potential, and not to take anything from CM Punk, but Dolph Ziggler tonight brought his A game. Unfortunately, with all of Laurinaitis' tactics on trying to screw CM Punk out of the match, not intentionally screw him, but screw him to the point where wasn't getting his hands dirty. CM Punk overcame the odds and was still your WWE champion, CM Punk.
Yes, it was a great match. It kept me at the edge of my seat. There were so many close falls. Dolph Ziggler almost won. CM Punk almost won. CM Punk had Dolph Ziggler beaten several times in succession, like JC mentioned. This is when Johnny Laurinaitis turned a blind eye. Johnny Laurinaitis was supposed to be the referee for this match, but he wanted to remain impartial, so we had another referee involved in the contest. This referee got knocked out. Johnny Laurinaitis was tending to him at ringside. It was clear as day that these pinfalls were being made, but Laurinaitis, like he said, didn't want to get his hands dirty, but he did whatever he could to avoid letting CM Punk get the victory. It came to the point where CM Punk had Dolph Ziggler pinned. The referee other than John Laurinaitis, was back conscious. He was counting the fall. Laurinaitis gets in the ring and counts the 2 and the 3 along with that referee to kind of, say, hey, I did the right thing. I don't know how Triple H is going to see it tomorrow night on Raw. Then we go into the 30-man 2012 Royal Rumble match.
Yes, the 25th annual WWE, I think 24th to 25th annual Royal Rumble match. We saw
I believe it's 25th, silver anniversary, if I'm not mistaken.
And we saw quite a few surprise entrants. We saw kind of a couple of moments that really, was a nostalgic factor for us fans, and also the showdown between between Santino and McFoley, which we'll get into that segment when we get to that. So we're just gonna run down the entrants and who was eliminated by who, and followed up by the winner.
Why don't you take 1 through 15, and I'll take 16 through 30, and then we'll just sum up the highlights afterwards.
Okay, sure.
We'll get this up for the fans, so if you guys weren't fortunate enough to see the Royal Rumble, or if you did, you get to see our thoughts before the night is out.
Exactly. So we see The Miz come in number 1, where he lost his match on Monday Night Raw to R-Truth with the stipulation that if he lost, he would be the number 1 entrant in the 2012 Royal Rumble. So we see The Miz enter at number 1, and we see him eliminated by The Big Show. We see Alex Riley come in at number 2, who was eliminated by The Miz not too long after he entered into the Rumble match itself. R-Truth eliminated by The Miz. We see Cody Rhodes eliminated by Show. Justin Gabriel eliminated by Foley and Rodriguez. Yes, Ricardo Rodriguez was in the Royal Rumble match,
playing the part of Alberto Del Rio.
And he came out with a taped up what was that, a Nissan 240X SX?
It was either a 240 or a 280, but I mean it had taped up windows on it. The seats were beat to crap. It looked like he was wearing either a pair of tighty whities mixed with a diaper. I don't know what to say, guys. I really don't.
We also saw Primo eliminated by Mick Foley, who was also part of the Rumble. Mick Foley eliminated by Cody Rhodes. Ricardo was, like Brian said, playing the part of Alberto Del Rio, eliminated by Santino. Santino was eliminated. Epico eliminated by Foley. We saw Kofi Kingston eliminated by Sheamus, which he had a nice spot, which we'll get into that in just a little bit.
Oh, incredible spot.
Surprise entrant by Jerry the King Lawler, who was eliminated by Cody Rhodes. Ezekiel Jackson eliminated by the returning Great Khali. Jinder Mahal eliminated by the Great Khali. The Great Khali eliminated by Cody Rhodes.
Yes, the Great Khali made a surprise return. Like JC said, Kofi Kingston had an incredible spot. I'll let JC tell you all about it in just a second. But I think the great spot that we mentioned is it came down to a showdown between Santino Marella and Mick Foley during the first part of the Rumble.
Cobra and Mr. Sacco. Mr. Sacco. We saw the Cobra versus the Sock.
It was great. I mean, it was just a great moment for wrestling fans that have followed Foley as long as we have. Mr. Sacco was always a mark-out moment. It was, originally just a gag to make Vince happy in the hospital. The legendary bedpan.
Yes.
That is my favorite moment in professional wrestling. That thing made off McMahon's skull will go down in history as the best moment in professional.
Well, what about when Stone Cold shoved that metal anal cavity thermometer or camera?
Or the catheter or whatever it was up his ass. Yeah, that was
interesting.
All right, so we'll go, your number 16th entrant was Unico. He was eliminated by Karma. Yes, Karma, the former Awesome Kong in TNA, came back to the WWE tonight. She was on maternity leave. She has had her child, and she dominated. I had no idea she was returning. JC had no idea. This was a complete surprise for us. Then we saw Booker T also enter. Believe it or not, all of the announcers entered the Royal Rumble. Booker T was eliminated by Rhodes. Ziggler was eliminated by Show. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the man who won the first Royal Rumble 25 years ago, was part of this year's Rumble. He was eliminated by Cody Rhodes. Michael Cole was part of the Rumble. Yes, all of the announcers. Michael Cole eliminated himself before bodily harm was inflicted upon him by Karma.
Yes.
Karma was eliminated by Dolph Ziggler. We're going to skip the number 22 entrant for just a moment because the number 22 entrant happened to be the winner. Road Dogg Jesse James was eliminated by Wade Barrett. Jey Uso was eliminated by Randy Orton. Jack Swagger was eliminated by Show. Barrett was eliminated by Orton. Otunga was eliminated by Jericho. Orton was eliminated by Jericho. Jericho was last eliminated by Sheamus. And Big Show was eliminated by Orton. Sheamus wins the 2012 Royal Rumble by last eliminating Chris Jericho, like I previously mentioned. It was a great match. We all assumed going in that Jericho was the favorite to win this year. It looked like he was going to win. And I mean, the amount of precision that these athletes had tonight. I mean, Jericho's going over the top rope, holding on with one hand, this far from the ground. I mean, just incredible precision. And that's the thing we've always said here at F and True Wrestling. Respect the athletes. You might not be a fan of the character, but these guys go out, they put their neck on the line for us and for our entertainment. I mean, come on. Oh, you guys go, oh, they're making money, this, that, and that. Do you go to work and not make money? Come on. Be real. Be serious. Respect the athletes. It was a great Rumble. I'm sure that we could probably talk about the Royal Rumble match itself and the great championship matches for a lot longer. I'm going to let JC give you a couple thoughts. I'm going to browse through my list one more time if I have any closing thoughts, and we'll close out this review.
We saw numerous attempts by superstars to eliminate Kofi Kingston, and we actually one spot in the match I think would probably top what John Morrison did last year with the scaling of the wall. We saw Kofi actually get knocked out of the ring, but the way he fell was he fell on his hands and walked.
Landed into a handstand.
Landed on a handstand and crawled over to the ropes. Walked over on his hands to the steel steps and climbed back into the ring. I mean, that was probably the most...
It was like, boom, on the steps, flipped himself. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, what John Morrison did last year, like JC mentioned, he almost was eliminated. He ended up landing on the barricade wall at ringside, flipping himself back in. I mean, it was simply incredible.
Yes.
But the athleticism shown by Kofi tonight was right with that.
Exactly.
I mean, it was right with that. And, I mean, it was just such a great event. I do have to say, it's a big surprise with Sheamus winning the Royal Rumble. Is he going after, I assume he's going to go after Daniel Bryan.
Or he could go after the WWE Championship. Time will only tell. We'll find out tomorrow night. As we all know, it's usually the first night after the Rumble is where we find out who the winner would face at WrestleMania. Or they may draw it out just a couple of weeks. So only time will tell. So let's set up for the closing moments of the video.
Yeah, exactly. By Elimination Chamber, we should know what the matches at WrestleMania are going to be. There's a lot of rumors that it was going to be Punk versus Jericho. I don't know what's going to happen now. There's a lot of rumors that it was going to be Daniel Bryan somehow involved with Henry and Show or some other program. I mean, everything is up in the air right now. That's a great thing about the Royal Rumble. That's a great thing about being wrestling fans. Sometimes you just don't know everything. They keep you on the edge of your seat, and sometimes that's the way you want to be. Thanks for checking this out. We sure do appreciate it. Please check out all the great channels and websites that make up the F brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. Please check out Most Extreme Wrestling, the only married couple here on YouTube. Please check out We Are Pro Wrestling. He provides great reviews. Check out all the great links that we've provided you guys on our main channel page and drop us some channel comments. We would love to hear from you guys. Thanks for checking this out. My name is Brian Crazy.
JC Styles.
And this is the F brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. We hope everybody has a safe, good night, and we'll catch you tomorrow.